Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch and the Switch 2 in this upcoming week. In terms of dates, we're going from the 7th of February up until the 13th to see if there's anything coming that's worth your time and money. So which games are coming out this week? Well, let's find out.
This episode has been sponsored by 4PGP, which is a 4-player Grand Prix arcade-style racing game that's been inspired by classics from the 1990s.
Yeah, very much so. You have a number of different game modes. You can play in single player and up to 4 players, as Mark just mentioned. Plus, in the Switch 2 version, you can also use Game Share.
Yep, this does have both Switch and Switch 2 editions, as Glen rightly states. And there is a Switch 2 upgrade pack as well, which is £4.49.
You have your championship mode, you have quick race, and you have time attack as well. The multiplayer aspect of it is a split screen affair, and there are 19 different cars, some of which you will unlock through natural progression, as well as 14 different circuits to race on.
You've got gyroscopic controls here, there's a tutorial mode. You'll also find some accessibility for younger players in the form of an assisted steering mode. And there is game chat functionality as well.
You're looking at 60 frames per second in TV, handheld or tabletop mode across both games, Switch 1 and Switch 2. Although having said that, the Switch 2 version can reach up to 120.
All of the links to it will be down in the description. A big thank you to the publisher. We do have a full dedicated video out as well. If you want to go check that out, we'll pop a link in the description.
Just thanks again to the publisher for sponsoring this episode. Let's begin then with the prison in Fletcher's quest. Here the blurb states that after a visit to the psychologist that went horribly wrong, you are trapped in the mind of a game developer on the brink of physical and emotional burnout during the last stages of an intense project. It goes on to say that you'll experience a Metroidvania light, drenched in anxiety, based on a very true story. It elaborates and says that this game originally was created back in 2020, albeit not released, and now they're back and more broke and desperate than ever. It says they asked 4 of their friends whether this was a good game, and at least 3 of them liked it, so that's some endorsement right there. But on a more serious note, it says that it's a procedurally generated Metroidvania, which I'm assuming is going to err on the side of zany, judging by the blurb that's given and some of the screenshots. I've seen the trailer for this. I will say I don't like the look of the jumping mechanic. It looks a bit floaty for my liking. But you can never really judge anything from a trailer alone. This one's out on the 10th and it will cost £11.49 or your regional equivalent. Next, we've got Little Gator game, Gator of the Year edition. This first released Little Gator game a couple of years ago now, and it's a really nice non-combat platform adventure game. It says you'll climb, swim, glide, and slide your way into the hearts of the many different characters you meet on your travels. There are areas to discover, friends to make, and joy to be had, with each area of the island bringing unique quests and characters to meet. As well as the main game, this Gator of the Year edition, as it's called, also includes the DLC called In the Dark, which effectively doubles the size of the original game. This comes out on the 12th of Feb and it will cost you £24.99 or again your regional equivalent.
Nap. Emilio roosts in the drafty old mineshaft. He's confident, elegant, a little bit smug, and ready to give the performance of a lifetime. Making a wake.
Next then, a Switch 2 release, we have Yakuz Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties. This is the 4th game in this series now to hit the Switch or the Switch 2. You have 0, 1, 2, and of course now the 3rd game. This is a remake of the 3rd game in the Yakuza series, a full from the ground up remake with that new Dark Ties content also included. There is a demo of this game available on the eShop if you do want to give it a try. We have got a video of this where we break down exactly what the demo entails if you want to give that a watch first. You have Kazuma Kiryu being the main character once again in Kiwami 3, and in the Dark Ties game you have the antagonist of the 3rd game and you play from his perspective. They both have slightly different fighting styles, and the 3rd game is set in quite a nice sunny location, so it looks a bit different from the other games in the series thus far. £54.99 for this one, and it's another one that releases on the 12th. We then have Mario Tennis Fever on the Switch 2. We did play a bit of this at a recent event that we were invited to in Frankfurt, Germany. Mark and I went up against each other, and that was quite fun. We played against another couple of people that were there too, and in a doubles match. So yeah, we enjoyed our time with it, the brief time we had with it. I enjoyed the fever mechanic where you can perform a really powerful shot that has some sort of effect. But what I liked most about it actually is the fact that you can return this. It's not that if you do that shot, then you're guaranteed the point. And there are some other modes as well, things like the Wonder Courses. Hopefully we'll have a full review of this one in the coming week to really give you our thoughts. But my initial impressions were positive, but that £58.99 asking price for a sports title, not a fully fledged Mario game, is where Nintendo, I think, are going to fall down at times with the Switch 2 era. We'll see how it plays out though when it releases on the 12th.
Freeze the court with the Ice Racket. Summon mushrooms that shrink your opponents using the Mini Mushroom Racket. Or duplicate yourself with the Shadow Racket.
Also this week is Chromagun 2 Die Hard, which is a Switch 2 game. The blurb here says, "Welcome to Chromatech, the universe's leading producer of the Chromagun, and where colours are magnets." It goes on to explain that you'll use your refined painting and colour mixing skills to voluntarily solve intricate puzzles on the Chromatech testing track for Chromagun research. It promises advanced physics-based puzzles and clever paint mechanics, and I'm assuming it's a bit like Portal in some respects, with that first-person view and you using physics basically, with the added colour dynamic to solve a number of different puzzles. This one will sell for £16.75 or your regional equivalent, and it's again out on the 12th.
Dearie, please remember, not solving tests as instructed is a bad idea.
Whoa, sorry I may have miscalibrated the portal. If you saw other universes...
We then have Blazblue Entropy Effect X. Now, I've played a few of the Blazblue games in the past, the main series, the fighting games I mean, but I'll be honest, it's not a series I know a huge amount about. I enjoyed my time with them, but it's not a series that's ever really stuck with me to the point that I can recall it offhand. This game though is actually a roguelite action game according to the blurb, set in the Blazblue universe, featuring striking 2D visuals, stylish fast-paced combat and precise responsive controls, it says here. It goes on to say that you'll command a line of unique characters from the Blazblue franchise, where your protagonist Ace is the only one capable of diving into the sea of possibility, a realm between worlds, to save this world from collapsing. I remember seeing this one on the coming soon page way back at the end of 2025 and really liking the look of it. It looks very intriguing. Not long to wait for this one now. It's out on the 12th, as is the theme of the week it seems, and this one will cost you £20 or your regional equivalent. The penultimate game for the week is REANIMAL. This game comes from the creators of Little Nightmares 1 and 2 and is a co-op horror adventure game, very similar to those games in that respect. You play as a brother and sister who go through hell to rescue their missing friends. Exploring by boat and on land, you must use your wits to survive, work together to escape the hellish island and the dark secrets that haunt you. This one does have a demo already on the Switch 2. This one is, I should have said, sorry. If you do want to give it a try first, we do have a video again about that demo if you want to give that a watch. But this one releases on the 13th this time, and it sells for £34.99. And the final game for the week then is Clue Murder by Death. So this is based on Clue, or Cluedo as we call it over here. It always confuses me when they use a particular name for a product or a franchise when they take it overseas where it's called something else. I mean, if you're going to have a license, then why not make the best use of it and change that name into what it's better known as when you take it to other regions. That aside though, this actually looks quite fun. It says a story-rich detective mystery set in the 1930s in England, where you investigate a murder inside a sprawling manor. It's a narrative-driven detective adventure inspired by classic British crime fiction, according to the blurb, where you need to work out who you can trust, who is lying, and what truth will you ultimately uncover. It's set in a 3D isometric mansion, which again is quite intriguing. I don't know how strongly it pulls on the Cluedo mechanics in terms of the board game, I mean, but it's one I've got half an eye on. My wife's a big fan of Cluedo. She collects the different versions of the board game, so it might be one I pick up for her, but it will cost you £18 or your regional equivalent, and again it's out on the 13th. So there you have it. That's another week of Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 releases. Do any of those games interest you? Will you pick any of them up? Do let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget, if you're looking for eShop credit to pick any of these games up, you can use our website switchup.gg to get your eShop cards, and doing so will get you 5% of your purchase price back as cashback. And there's a link down there to Play Asia. If you want to import any games, use the link and code and you will get yourself 5% off of your order price from there. I do have a video on our second channel, SwitchUp Extra, of my import collection. If you want to give that a watch, I'll put a card to that in the top right hand corner. Otherwise though, thank you for watching. Thanks to our patrons and our channel members. Take care and happy gaming.